fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today to share with you another finish. You guys, I finished something else. I'm so excited. Didn't make all the finishes that I wanted to in October, but I finished this one before the end of October, so it counts. Hopefully all of you finished your paintings for the holiday diamond paint along, which ended yesterday, which means today starts the paint along for DP for veterans. So I have been informed by my husband that I need to start carrying change around so that we can get poppies or make donations at all the places they're selling poppies, and we will wear them until the day after Veterans Day, November 11th, Remembrance Day. I think that's how he told me it goes. Anyway, all of that aside, as you get ready for Veterans Day, and I hope you guys are doing the diamond paint along with me for that, I finished Naoko. So I'm super excited about this one. She turned out really cute. However, before you rush out and buy her, I have some caveats for you. The first thing is I ran out of one of the fairy dust drills. Now, there weren't very many of these, and I managed to move some drills around so you can't tell that I ran out, because obviously I didn't have any fairy dust in this exact color. And I could have tried substituting some for my spare drills in that color, but they would have been regular drills, not fairy dust. So I just shuffled some things around because they were in her eye makeup. So I wanted both of her eyes to look the same. So I just moved them around from someplace else on the canvas, and I'll show you that. That's the only one that I actually ran out of, although there were several that I was scared that I was going to run out because a lot of these colors didn't have very many drills to begin with. I did have a lot of black, and this is all that's left. And I was super afraid that I was going to run out of it because basically black was the outline for everything in this canvas. I didn't, thankfully, but it was really iffy. And that's because for the size of this kit, there was a lot of trash, and most of it was the black. The black was very misshapen, tabs everywhere, just uneven sizes in the drills, that sort of thing. The rest of the colors weren't horrible. There was one of the darker pinks that was kind of bad, but nothing was as bad as the black. So if I had to do this kit over again and I knew that, I probably would have sourced some other black drills. Now, I think I just bought this kit like at the end of last year. So I don't know what the release date on it was, but yeah, a lot more trash than I was expecting for a kit that's only 55 by 55, essentially. So wasn't too thrilled about that. But I didn't run out of anything, as you can see, and I added in a whole bunch of ABs. So the kit came with 5 ABs, and then I think there were 2 fairy dust drills. So the one that I ran out of, and this one was fairy dust. I think those were the only 2 fairy dust. Everything else was either an AB or something that I added. And I think all the ones except for one that I added were ABs. I did have one pixie dust that I added, but everything else was ABs. So let me grab the canvas and we'll look at it. And here she is. So even at 55 by 55, she's still a little bit too big to fit all on the screen. So I will, of course, have taken some B-roll so that I can show you guys the whole canvas. Let's talk about the changes that I made. I added in some white ABs for her eyes, basically is the only place that those went. I added in this kind of grayish brown, and this went into the highlights on her hair right here. I think it turned out really good. I did not end up adding any 310 ABs. I figured, again, that's supposed to blend kind of into the shadows, so I didn't add any in for that one. I did add some green ABs here. So any place that you see green on the flowers, there are some of these green ABs. So all the different little flowers behind her that she's holding in her hand, all of those have ABs in them. I did have one AB that I ran out of, which was an kind of a yellowish orange, which is in all of these flowers, and then also here in her wings and in the sleeves of her little dress here. So I had enough of the 741, but I ran out of the 742. This 453 here again was highlights in her hair right here. So these kind of 2 ABs right there in her hair, I think turned out really well. And then I did add 939 into her hair. Again, I don't typically do that because like the 310, I want it to go into, to fade into the background. but I actually like the way it looks. It just gives this extra little sparkle, like she has one of those sparkle nets over her hair, and I actually really like the way it turned out. I just kind of dotted them here and there randomly. I didn't replace everything, but I think it turned out okay. And then I have these pink ABs that, of course, ended up in all of her wings in all the various places. Super cute. She went super quickly. It didn't take me very long to finish this one, even day-wise. I think maybe 5 or 6 days. And some of those days I didn't work on it very hard. And then the last AB is one that I did for the background. And I had almost a full bag of this pixie dust. So I just substituted the whole thing. So you can see kind of here on the outline of her, there is this kind of glittery red that is the pixie dust, and it is kind of all the way around her because it starts out light and then moves to dark. And I really love the way it turned out, so I'm super happy with her. And I absolutely love how they did the shading on her skin and everything. I think her face turned out really well. Skin is really, really hard to do, but I think it looks really, really good. I think they did a good job with her nose. I think they did a good job with her mouth. I think it looks really close to the original drawing. Maybe that's because her skin is a little bit darker, so maybe it's a little easier to make it look good than it is for something that's super pale. And I loved all the little ABs and colors and everything that got added into her wings. So the ABs that came with the kit, of course, were the white ones here that you see all the way through her wings. There was a green one that's also in her wings. There's a pink one that got added into her wings as well, kind of a pinky purple. And then the color that I ran out of, there's not very much of it, but you can see right here, these kind of fairy dust drills right here for the kind of turquoise eye makeup for her were supposed to be those. And because I had done her wings and everything, I left her face until last basically to do. I had 3 drills here that I was missing for her makeup. So what I did was, because some of those drills got used down here and down here, I went and scavenged some from those sections and put them on her face, and then I used a color, a turquoise color that was not fairy dust that was in the kit to replace those, and I don't think you can tell. But it was one of those things where literally I only needed 3 drills and I was short. And since you're typically supposed to get more than you need anyway, and I didn't throw any of the fairy dust away, that's one of the reasons I like them better than the ABs too. Not only are they size-wise easier than working with ABs sometimes, but you don't seem to get as many ones that have like strings on them that you need to throw away or that somehow end up misshapen with the coating because of the way they're made. I guess the process is a little bit different than ABs. So again, another reason why I prefer them. But I really love the color palette of this. Her wings, I think, are gorgeous with the turquoise and teals, and then kind of some light greens, and then to the yellows and pinks and purples, and then back into blues. All of the colors and the flowers and everything. I really thought that all the black would get a little tedious, and it got a little tedious just because I had to pick out so many of the trashy drills, not so much because I had too much black to do. I actually think it ended up being a nice balance, and it was kind of nice to do all the black first and then I could fill in, which is how I did most of it. And I just think she turned out super cute. So I'm interested to know your thoughts. If you're somebody who has done this kit before, leave me a comment below and let me know. Did you run out of any colors? Did you run out of any of the fairy dust? Is that just some kind of miscount that happened on the kit that I got? Is that something that's happened to other people? I could have sent something to Diamond Art Club and asked them to send me the drills, but for 3 drills, and I wanted to finish her, I didn't want to have to wait for everything to arrive in the mail because mail is super slow. So I just, like I said, scavenged some from elsewhere in the kit and called it good. I do think she's one of my favorites to date so far that I've done this year, just because I'm really happy with all the ABs I added. She's very colorful, which we all know is something that I like, and I think that the actual diamond painted image is pretty close to the actual image from the artist, the original image. So I'm super happy with it. I double checked to make sure that I didn't miss any drills. So if you guys see a hole, oh, and I just saw one right there. Goodness gracious. I think that one fell off actually because I double checked this one. So I will fix that. If any of you eagle-eyed people saw it before I did, but I will fix that before I put her away in my portfolio. I don't see anything else that fell off, so I think I'm good there. That's so annoying because I did double check this I put a light underneath it so I can tell immediately if I've missed anything. So the fact that I missed that one is annoying, but I still have my drills kitted up, so I'll just fix it right now before I put her away and it'll all be good. So since I'm finished with her now, I can move on to figuring out all of the stuff for my end of the month so I can be sharing that with you upcoming. I will be starting to work on my poppies kit, and I think I'm also at the same time going to be starting to work on my autumn sun kit. So that may be the kit that you see for the next whip and chat. Okay, I had to wait for my noisy neighbor to stop his bus running because it was super loud. Anyway, while he was doing that, I took the chance to fix it. So I shouldn't have any holes anywhere else, any drills that I forgot. So like I said, let me know if you ran out of any drills if you've already done this kit. But knowing that going into it, I would again, like I said, just make sure that I had enough of everything, and I think I would source some different blacks. I mean, I had enough to finish, so it wasn't the end of the world, but I always get frustrated when I spend so much time picking trash out of colors because that cuts in my diamond painting time. Someone also asked me if I included kitting up and kitting down as part of my hours because that's part of the projects, and I never have, but that's something I'm thinking about for 2026. Maybe if I included my kit up and kit down hours, that would help me get to my 1,000 hours because it is a part of the process. Also, leave me a comment and let me know if you're going to be participating in the Diamond Paint Along for DP for Veterans. It's one of my favorite things to do each year. Sad that I couldn't make it work out for events, but until shipping is less crazy, I'm just going to do the Diamond Paint Alongs. And I think the consensus was to do a winter Diamond Paint Along for January. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I will try to post something in the Facebook group about that as we get closer to January. We're not quite there yet. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.